abundance, and gratitude to all. I want you to look at these structures, right? And I want you to more importantly look at the one structure that they have found. I want you to look at the hair, and look at the head of the other individual. You think in Aliens versus Predator, right? They just made up these characters. I just want you to know that. You think somebody just pulled these characters from out of their ass. I want you to know something. How could a species, right, that shared 96 to 98% of their DNA with a pansexual, violent, cannibalistic animal, right, all of a sudden can think of CGI, can create shit like that, create um, movies that have all of this action and sci-fi in it? How could you they be able to do that? You need to really wake up. How could a species that couldn't even keep themselves clean, bathe, they couldn't even keep lice out of their hair. They couldn't do none of this stuff. They used to sleep and eat and shit and piss all in the same place. So how could a species go from that to creating CGI and all these other um, sci-fi effects in these movies? Where did they get these species from? Where did they get the shape of the ships from? Where did they get the cloaking technology from? Anything that you see that they have made up on TV, they have seen it somewhere, and they are recreating it for you on TV because we have seen it somewhere before. This is not your first time. This is not your first rodeo here or anywhere in the solar system. Thermodynamics, you are energy. The body encapsulates the energy. That's why it's called black body radiation. The darker the body, the higher the frequency is. The more UV, ultraviolet light, electromagnetic you can manipulate, you can pull in and emit. That is what you are. That's why these people go for the darker of the species. They know this already, but I want you to look at something right here. And I'm getting ready to play this video. And I don't care what anybody say about they supposed to disclose extraterrestrials. They're never going to tell the truth about extraterrestrials. This is being prepared to set you up for a species that's already here that created this phenotype that's right here in the video right now. But I want you to look at this one sculpture. I want you to understand something. These species has been doing some shit to us for hundreds of thousands of years before they can even get the complex cell up and running. I want you to understand this. And a lot of my people are really delusional to this. You honestly believe rather than know that Brazil, the whole continent of Brazil, the whole continent of Australia, the whole continent of Africa, the whole continent and parts of America, but America was parts of in the north, it was full of ice. But when it thawed out, all of this shit here was all us. There was no other species here other than other life forms that are natural that don't look like us but have intelligence. As far as the pink skin race, no matter what continent, no matter what nationality that is, that species was not here. Was not here. Asian, Arab, don't make a difference. You have animal DNA, mix animal DNA to make one living organism. You wasn't here. And David Wilcox said that they don't want so-called black people to know that they have extraterrestrial DNA. Extraterrestrial DNA just means that you have extra genes on a terrain. You have extra genes on a terrain that don't have it. Meaning that we are more powerful, and our genetics far exceed the planet in which we are on. This is what I'm trying to explain to people. That's extraterrestrial. The same thing. That's why they say if anything come from outer space or somewhere else, that's called extraterrestrial, because it's extra genes, something that they can't study, something they can't research, and it's more advanced than the planet in which we are in. And black people, our genes, more importantly, the so-called black woman, our genes far exceed the planet in which we are on. That's how powerful we are. But let me play this video, and I want you to tell me again, Predator and aliens. I want you to think about that. Look at the head, look at the Predator, look at the aliens. Look at this, people.
Is this why they murdered David Wilcox? I mean, why he committed suicide? The DS is very, very adamantly fighting to prevent you from learning about extraterrestrials. That's the last thing they want you to know about.
Look at that shit right there. What do that look like to you? Look, what did that look like to you? That looked like a black woman and an alien predator, bro. That looked like a so-called black woman and an alien. Are you kidding me? Look at that head. And it's not that we didn't have, our heads wasn't bigger because our pineal glands was bigger. But look at that head. Where do you think they get these from?
They want you to be afraid. They want you to see them as gods, to see them as authority figures. The last thing they want is for you to understand there's a higher power that answers Christianity, answers Islam, answers Buddhism, answers Hinduism. It pays off all of these ancient teachings that we...
The last thing they want you to know, that not that it's a higher power, that there is a race that is highly advanced, technically advanced, more and more powerful than anything that they ever seen. And they don't want you to know that, because this is, again, it's a test. It's a test for the organic species. Crop circles, the message from 1977, it's all there, people, all there. Let me start this over because I really want you to pay attention to this.
Is this why they murdered David Wilcox? I mean, why he committed suicide? The DS is very, very adamantly fighting to prevent you from learning about extraterrestrials. That's the last thing they want you to know about. They want you to be afraid. They want you to see them as gods, to see them as authority figures. The last thing they want is for you to understand there's a higher power that answers Christianity, answers Islam, answers Buddhism, answers Hinduism. It pays off all of these ancient teachings that we've inherited that often become religions. The deep state doesn't want you to know the truth about extraterrestrials and aliens, but the president of the United States in February said that he's directing all agencies to release all of those related files, and then all of these UFO researchers and scientists. Is this why
all of those scientists and researchers came up missing? The moment that he said we're going to be releasing files and updating people with aliens and extraterrestrials, you remember they used two words, aliens and extraterrestrial. An alien is a lie. An alien is not natural. And extraterrestrials, remember that. They use two words and the meaning of them. Let's say, my people, call it whatever you want. You know, like, let me say this to you. A lot of people are up and ill prepared for the fucking shock of their lives. And if you don't like the fact that I spoke before I played this video, or even me speaking while this video was playing, why do you continue to log on to my page? All you got to do is not log on there. That's all. That's called emotional intelligence. That's all. A lot of you can't exercise that because you're bots, you're programmed. You know what I mean? You can't fight and argue against this no more. None of you can. Your 46 chromosomes, your prokaryotic cell versus your eukaryotic cells. You can't argue with this no more. You can't argue that you got 19,000 French toast genes. And only thing you can do is jump, run, play football, basketball, fucking drive a car, ride a bike. And you can't even do that correctly. Because I look at y'all have helmets on your head at fucking 30 and 20 years old. Y'all can't ride a bike correctly. Y'all can't skate correctly. Y'all can't drive correctly. Y'all have your equilibrium as far as your mental balance is completely off, and it's off even more now. You have no natural rhythm to the entirety of the planet. None whatsoever. The only rhythm that you all have is to violence. That's it. I appreciate you all. Abundance and gratitude.